make you feel. So she had to comply, and she was asking me, how does she handle this, especially the fact that she wants to pass her exams and everything. I said, this man is using power because he has the power in the school. And you as a lower person, you cannot fight that. Who can fight that? You have to tell your parents. Then they will stand on the same balance now, and the parents now can address this. You cannot get into something like that. I think it's something that really traumatized her. She had given in already, but she was trying to understand how she can come out of it. But the good thing is that she came out of it because she had to tell the parents, and I think it's lycée technique. I don't want to call it.
Now, we're trying to look at the contributing factors. We're talking about a weak policy. We're talking about failure of the education authorities because they're supposed to act and on time and take decisions and implement those decisions. We're equally talking about political ignorance.
Yes.
Are you with me on that?
Yes. We and also maybe I add one more. We're talking about the culture of silence. The culture of silence because it affects. There's some parents who know that their children are being violated by teachers, but they just choose to stay quiet. There are girls who are being sexually harassed, they don't talk about it. There are even within the ministries, there are people in our country who have certificates that cannot testify for because they either bought their way through or they sexed their way through. So I think that it is a huge problem, and we have the political problem because the political will to change such situations is very, very vital. What are our political leaders doing? How many laws does the parliament, for example, the Senate, look at when it comes to making the schools a safe haven? Because I think that they are the decision makers. And I would say that politically we have a problem because the executive alone cannot handle this. And the legislative has to come up. And when you come up, for example, now we are working on a code of conduct, a draft code of conduct to present in schools to curb school-related gender-based violence. We are intending to one day have a meeting with parliamentarians, but sometimes it's so difficult even to get them. We have been looking since November, we want to get, but they are all busy. So there is a lack of political will, even to change, identify, because I think that even in our country, everybody knows about these problems, but they lack the political will to change it. So it is, for example, how does the government control the construction of classrooms? Do they just give a certificate, an authorization, or they follow up how it is constructed and how the classes are being used? That is a question.
So there's a lack of political will. Now, equally, I went down to some schools here in Cameroon's economic city, Douala, to sample the opinion of some students, teachers, and the entire education family on the different problems related to school-related gender-based violence and what they have experienced. Let's watch this report. We'll be right back.
Example, you can have students who carry out things like drug abuse and the rest, examination fraud. Yes, all of them are examples of things that are not good in the school campus. Yes, and then we have students confronting teachers on certain issues. Might be a teacher gave a student an assignment and the student never did it. The teacher decided to punish a student just because he has not done the assignment, and then later on the students will come attacking the teacher if the punishment was more than what he was supposed to do.
Teachers don't do the punish students voluntarily. That students who are so stubborn, like they push the teacher themselves to punish, like to give the student very high punishment. So it should not be like saying that the teacher will voluntarily, because they know that their job is to come and teach us, and they know that if they don't teach, the student will not give the good results. So it's also on the student's part to respect the teacher. Yes, to be honest, because there are students who, like, you talk to the student will respond to you in a very, how can I say, very bad manner. That is not really good. So it's good that, and there are some who even bring phones to school, because we know that phones are authorized by the school administration not to be brought to school, but there are students who still bring them to school, like they try to provoke the school administration. So we should not be like blaming them for the punishment, because there are times that they really need to give that punishment so they can learn a lesson.
when it comes to teacher to student relationship. There has always been this difficulty between the teacher and the student, where there is a funny way of students being punished by a teacher. Maybe a teacher will tell you to kneel down for about 3 hours. I mean, this type of punishment is something really, really difficult for a student to go through. And there are also so many things, like a teacher will maybe be asking a student out. I mean, so many of these things are really, really difficult for a student to go or to pass through. So I think being a student, there are always difficulties, but we just pray that at the end of the day, there should be success, because being as a student, especially in the secondary school life, it is not always easy. A student and a teacher relationship.
On est centre dans notre société, plus dans les établissements où nous nous trouvons, là où deux camarades de classe sont en train de bagarrer à cause peut-être l'autre a emprunté l'argent de l'autre et il refuse de rembourser cet argent. Ce qui fait donc que l'autre camarade est donc obligé d'exercer la violence pour pouvoir récupérer cet argent. À la fin, il se trouve qu'il finit par une bagarre. Et que nous voyons toujours que l'autre est toujours en train de peut-être poignarder l'autre, tuer l'autre ou mettre des blessures sur l'autre. Nous avons aussi des cas là où la violence est dans notre école, où nous avons des élèves qui peut-être les autres fait des avances à d'autres élèves et les autres n'acceptent pas. Et donc ce qui fait en sorte que les autres sont obligés d'exercer la violence sur les autres élèves pour les faire accepter les propositions des avances.
We have this boyfriend and girlfriend issues. Two girls will be fighting over a boy, and then at the end of the day, maybe one of them will go and confront the other, leading to violence in the school campus.
Victims often shy away in fear of being at the center of mockery, humiliation, and stigmatization. Just a clear proof that female genital mutilation remains a painful and bitter experience to young girls in some communities in Cameroon and other parts of the world where the practice persists. Many, especially rights organizations, have put up strategies to end the practice by conscientizing those involved, mostly old mothers who stick on cultures and tradition to continue the inhuman practice. Rights organizations working the northern part of Cameroon have published updated reports of how the practice of female genital mutilation still exists in some remote communities, how to address them and completely eradicate the practice by 2030. A sustainable partnership with men and boys, experts believe, can transform the mindsets of communities. As Cameroon joins the world February 6, 2023 to commemorate zero tolerance for female genital mutilation, there are hopes that reports from rights organizations will push government to take actions towards ending the abominable practice. Many are expecting more laws to be passed in Parliament to contempt its promoters. It should be noted, girls who undergo female genital mutilation face short-term complications such as severe pains, shock, excessive bleeding, infections, as well as long-term consequences for sexual and reproductive and mental health.
Today on our program Women and Leadership on Canal International, we are receiving another inspirational leader. She is the Deputy Mayor of Houston in the United States of America. She is the brain behind several projects that continue to impact many lives across the globe. She is called Mayor Castle Tatum. You are welcome to Canal International. You're welcome to the program Women and Leadership.
Thank you so very much. Very happy to be here.
Now, tell us more about yourself and your projects.
So I am currently serving as the Vice Mayor Pro Tem of the City of Houston, and I'm happy to be here in Cameroon. This is my first time to Cameroon, so the CABEF conference is a wonderful opportunity for me to come and learn more about the energy goals in Cameroon and how we can assist Cameroon from our knowledge and our experience in the city of Houston.
You came to Douala, particularly, let's say Cameroon is your first time you're coming to Cameroon to participate to a Central African Business and Energy Forum as a potential partner to Central African countries, knowing that Houston is a capital of energy. How do you appreciate the evolution of Central Africa in that domain?
Well, Houston has long since been known as the energy capital of the world. Okay. And so the opportunity to come to this forum was perfect for us because this also allows us to learn more about what's happening in Douala, in Cameroon, in the energy space. And if we can utilize our leadership and our knowledge and the journey that we've taken as a city to assist in Douala, we definitely want to do that.
Now, what are the innovations?
So in the city of Houston, we are home to over 5,000 energy firms, related energy firms. And so we are it's very important for us to make sure that we have diversification in energy. For instance, oil and gas, we've been known as the oil and gas capital of the world. But now we are moving to energy transition. And it's very important that we share our experience with solar and wind and renewables. During the forum, I had an opportunity to share with the attendees about one of our shining star projects, which is the Sunnyside Solar Farm, where we are taking an old landfill that really was an eyesore in the community, which is a predominantly black and brown community. And now we have an opportunity to turn 240 acres into a solar farm that can provide energy to over 5,000 homes. And so that project in itself is one that we're very proud of, and we'd like to share that project because most cities have landfills. And if they too can put a solar farm on those landfills, there's an opportunity for us to make sure that residents and our constituents have the much needed energy.
Now, let's talk about Central Africa.
Yes.
Where you are right now. Now, how is that going to be beneficial to them? Concretely, what's going to happen on the field?
So, yesterday I had an opportunity to hear about the CAPS project, the Central Africa piping system. And so many of the ministers are working together to provide that system so that energy can be a reality, a reliable energy can be a reality in Central Africa.
Now, you were elected in 2018. Can you tell us more about your vision and your journey so far as the Vice Deputy Mayor of Houston?
Yes. I am currently serving as the Vice Mayor Pro Tem of the City of Houston, and I am also the council member of District K. District K is in Southwest Houston. The City of Houston is 2.3 million people. I am the council member of a district of about 206,000 constituents, and I'm always very proud to share that I am the council member for my mom and dad. And it really speaks to how important representation is and being able to restore people's faith in government. So the work that we do every day is important because we want to make sure that we are improving the quality of life for our constituents.
Now, you're an Afro-American. Now, how do you manage racism?
How do I manage racism? Well,
because it's still a growing phenomenon.
Racism definitely is a problem. It is important that you get to know people. I think conversations are important, and you learn what's important to people. And one of the things that I pride myself on is I think that I keep personality out of the politics, and I just make sure that I'm looking at the policy and doing so with all people in mind. As an African-American female, you know, I've experienced racism, but I also know that I can make a change in the policies. And so I want to make sure that every time I have to make decisions and policies on behalf of the people of Houston, which is a very diverse city, that I'm doing so with everyone in mind.
Now, what percentage of women, we're talking about Houston here, we're talking about politics here, what percentage of women are involved in politics in Houston?
Well,
are they so interested in politics? Because I know back here in Africa it's not the same thing.
Yes.
So I'm asking about Houston, what percentage of women are involved in politics?
I'm very proud to say that there are 10 women serving on the Houston City Council. We have 17 people on the council. That is 16 council members and the mayor. And there are 10 women on the Houston City Council. And the last election, when we had an additional 5 women elected to the Houston City Council, our local newspaper dubbed us as the Pink Wave, because never in the history of the city of Houston have we had 10 women serving at the same time.
Welcome back. Now, Crystal, I want to find out, what have you been doing in schools, and have schools been receptive to your actions or actions you're taking? Because I know there are schools that will not even allow you get inside. How has it been? Has it been so difficult? What are the problems you've gone through in terms of ensuring that you properly address school-related gender-based violence?
Yes, thank you. That's a very pertinent question. Of course, in our work on the field, we have problems, but I would say the successes are more than the problems.
Okay.
In the beginning, Gender Empowerment has been working on this project for 6 years and ongoing. And in the beginning, it was a bit difficult because when they hear gender, they think it's a woman-man thing and all of that. So it was a bit difficult to get into the schools. But up to now, we have worked with 120 schools.
Okay.
And the good thing is, when we go to a school to sensitize and they come up with their problems, and we try to bring tailor-made strategies for each school, because the issues in one school is not the same with the issues in another school. There are some general issues, of course, but when you go to one school, there is more of early pregnancy, there's more of sexual violence, and you go to another school, there's more of drug abuse that they want you to try to address. And the good thing is, when we sensitize in schools, some schools will recommend and call us like, oh, we heard that you came to this school, please also come to this school.
Now, some schools have
really
some specificity, right? The schools are not the same.
They are not the same. They are not the same. In some schools, depending on where they are situated, we don't work only in the urban areas. We really work in the peripheries as well. So you